Imagine a life where fear no longer controls your actions, a life where you meet challenges with calm, clarity, and confidence. What if I told you that the timeless philosophy of Stoicism, practiced by great thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, offers powerful tools to conquer fear and reclaim your inner peace? For over 2 millennia, Stoicism has guided people through life's toughest challenges, helping them find strength in adversity and wisdom in uncertainty. In today's discussion, we're going to explore 6 transformative Stoic lessons on overcoming fear. These principles will teach you how to understand the nature of fear, face it with reason, and ultimately move past the limitations it places on your life. If you're ready to stop letting fear hold you back and embrace a more courageous, fulfilling existence, let's dive into these life-changing Stoic teachings. 1. Embrace impermanence. Fear often thrives on the illusion that things will last forever, that our relationships, possessions, and even our own lives are fixed and unchanging. But here's the truth. Nothing in life is permanent. The Stoics understood this better than most, and they didn't see it as a cause for despair. Instead, they saw it as a call to live fully and without fear. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This isn't a morbid thought. It's a powerful reminder that life's fleeting nature is what makes it precious. When you cling to the illusion of permanence, you open the door for fear to take hold. You fear losing what you have, your job, your loved ones, your health. You fear change because it threatens the stability you believe you need to feel secure. But the Stoics would challenge this perspective. They would ask, why fear the inevitable? Change is not the enemy. It's the natural state of the universe. Everything is in flux, and fighting against this reality only creates unnecessary suffering. Embracing impermanence doesn't mean detaching from life or giving up on what matters to you. It means recognizing that the value of everything lies in its temporality. Think about it. If you knew you could live forever, would you cherish each day as much? Probably not. Knowing that your time is limited, that moments are fleeting, gives life its urgency and beauty. The next time you find yourself gripped by fear, whether it's fear of losing a job, a relationship, or even your sense of stability, pause and remind yourself that this too shall pass. Fear doesn't have to dominate you when you accept that nothing is permanent, not even your struggles. Instead of resisting change, lean into it. Trust that life will keep moving forward, whether you fear it or not. To practice this mindset, start small. Reflect on the little changes around you, the seasons shifting, a sunset fading, a flower blooming and wilting. These are all reminders of life's impermanence. And instead of fearing these changes, see them as opportunities to appreciate what you have in the moment. When you embrace impermanence, fear loses its grip, and you gain the clarity to live with courage and purpose. 2. Recognize fear as an illusion. Fear is a master of disguise. It parades itself as a legitimate threat, convincing you that the worst is about to happen. But here's the reality. Most of what we fear isn't real. It's a projection of the mind, a story we tell ourselves about what might go wrong. Epictetus put it perfectly when he said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them." In other words, fear isn't in the situation, it's in how we perceive it. Let's break this down. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and your mind screams, "What if I fall?" But are you falling? No. Are you in immediate danger? Not at all. The fear you feel isn't coming from the cliff. It's coming from your imagination. Your mind is spinning a tale of disaster, and you're reacting to that story as if it's real. This is the illusion of fear. It feeds on what-ifs and worst-case scenarios, none of which have actually happened. The Stoics teach us to shine a light on this illusion by using reason. When fear arises, ask yourself, is this fear based on fact or assumption? More often than not, you'll find that it's the latter. Recognizing fear as an illusion doesn't mean dismissing it outright. It means stepping back and observing it for what it is, a fleeting thought, not an undeniable truth. Fear may never fully disappear, but when you see it eternally, it loses its power over you. You realize that it's not fear itself that stops you, it's your belief in the stories it tells. The next time fear creeps in, confront it with awareness. Name it, question it, and remind yourself that it's just a thought. Thoughts can change, and so can you. As you practice this, fear will become less of an obstacle and more of a signal, an indicator that you're stepping out of your comfort zone and growing into something greater. Remember, fear is not your enemy. It's an illusion waiting to be unmasked. And once you do, you'll find strength you never knew you had. 3. Practice mindful awareness. Fear has a sneaky way of pulling us out of the present moment. It thrives on the past, mistakes we've made, regrets we carry, or on the future, spinning endless what-if scenarios that paralyze us with anxiety. The Stoics understood this tendency of the mind and offered a simple yet profound solution. Focus on the present. As Seneca said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. In other words, most of the fear we feel isn't rooted in what's actually happening, but in the stories we tell ourselves about what could happen. When you bring your attention to the present moment, you take away fear's power. Think about the last time you were truly afraid. Maybe it was before a big presentation or a difficult conversation. Your mind likely ran wild with thoughts of failure or embarrassment, none of which had actually occurred. By anchoring yourself in the now, you can disrupt this cycle. What's happening right now? Are you in danger? Probably not. The present moment is almost always more manageable than the fears your mind creates. Mindful awareness doesn't mean ignoring fear. It means observing it without letting it consume you. When fear arises, pause. Notice the physical sensations: a racing heart, sweaty palms, shallow breathing. Acknowledge these sensations without judgment. They're simply signals that your body is preparing for action, not evidence that something terrible is about to happen. By practicing this awareness, you create space between yourself and your fear, allowing you to respond rationally instead of reacting impulsively. To cultivate mindful awareness, start with small practices. Focus on your breathing. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Engage fully in whatever task you're doing, whether it's washing dishes or writing an email. The more you train your mind to stay present, the less power fear will have over you. Remember, fear needs a stage to perform, and that stage is your imagination. Take it away by staying rooted in the now. 4. Understand the nature of suffering. Fear, at its core, is a form of suffering. It's uncomfortable, disruptive, and often overwhelming. But the Stoics remind us that suffering itself isn't the real problem. It's how we interpret it that matters. Marcus Aurelius, in his timeless wisdom, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, fear and suffering aren't obstacles to avoid. They're opportunities to grow stronger. When fear arises, it's easy to see it as the enemy. We want to avoid it, escape it, or push it away. But the Stoics teach us to approach fear with curiosity. What is this fear trying to tell you? Maybe it's highlighting an area of your life where you feel unprepared. Maybe it's signaling that you're stepping into something meaningful and challenging. Fear isn't there to stop you. It's there to show you where you need to focus your effort. Understanding fear as a natural part of life helps you reframe your relationship with it. Instead of seeing it as a barrier, see it as a teacher. Fear pushes you to confront your weaknesses, to prepare more thoroughly, to grow in ways you didn't think possible. It's uncomfortable, yes, but that discomfort is where real growth happens. As the Stoics believed, the path to strength and resilience lies in facing what scares us, not running from it. When you embrace this perspective, fear loses its sting. It becomes less about avoiding pain and more about finding purpose in it. The next time fear shows up, don't shrink away. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? By shifting your mindset, you turn fear into fuel, transforming suffering into progress. Remember, the obstacle is not in your way. It is the way, and every step you take through fear is a step toward becoming your best self. Let go of attachment. Attachment is a double-edged sword. On one side, it ties us to things we care about, our goals, possessions, relationships, or even our sense of self. On the other side, it binds us with fear, the fear of losing what we've worked for or built our identity around. The Stoics saw attachment as one of the greatest sources of anxiety and taught us to focus instead on what we can control. Epictetus put it simply, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." This is the essence of non-attachment. When you cling tightly to outcomes, you place your happiness and peace on things outside your control. You fear failure because your identity is tied to success. You fear change because you've built your stability on things staying the same. But life, as the Stoics remind us, is unpredictable. Outcomes, possessions, even people, none of them are guaranteed to remain as they are. And when you attach your sense of self to these impermanent things, you give fear a permanent home in your mind. Letting go of attachment doesn't mean apathy or indifference. It doesn't mean you stop caring about your goals or relationships. It means recognizing that your worth and peace don't depend on them. When you release the need to control external factors, you free yourself from the constant fear of losing them. You become grounded in what truly matters: your character, your actions, and your ability to respond to life with reason and courage. To practice non-attachment, start by shifting your perspective. When working toward a goal, focus on the effort you're putting in rather than the result. Celebrate the process, not just the outcome. And when life throws uncertainty your way, remind yourself that while you can't control what happens, you can control how you respond. This mindset not only reduces fear, but also allows you to engage with life fully, without the weight of constant anxiety. 6. Cultivate patience. Impatience is fear's accomplice. It pushes you to demand answers, rush results, and avoid discomfort. The Stoics, however, understood the value of patience as a shield against fear and anxiety. Seneca wrote, "How much better to pursue a straight course and eventually reach that destination where the things that are pleasant and excellent in their own right will add to our happiness, not create it." Patience isn't passive. It's an active trust in the process of life and your ability to navigate it. Fear often arises when we want immediate control over an uncertain future. We fear the unknown because we can't predict what will happen. We panic when things don't unfold on our timetable. Impatience amplifies this fear, turning small uncertainties into overwhelming obstacles. But patience allows you to pause, breathe, and take one step at a time, knowing that everything unfolds as it should. Practicing patience doesn't mean ignoring problems or avoiding action. It means enduring discomfort with grace and wisdom. When fear tempts you to react impulsively, patience gives you the space to respond thoughtfully. It helps you see that discomfort, like fear, is temporary and manageable. Over time, this resilience builds confidence, allowing you to face life's challenges with calm instead of panic. Start cultivating patience in small ways. When faced with a challenge, resist the urge to seek an immediate solution. Instead, focus on what you can do right now, even if it's just waiting for clarity. Trust that the answers will come when the time is right. Patience also requires kindness toward yourself. Recognize that growth takes time and that setbacks are part of the journey. As Seneca reminds us, true happiness comes not from chasing perfection, but from embracing the process. Patience isn't just about waiting. It's about enduring life's uncertainties with strength and wisdom. It's the foundation of inner peace, allowing you to face fear not as an enemy, but as a fleeting emotion that will pass. With patience, you learn to trust yourself and the flow of life, knowing that everything unfolds in its own time. If you've made it this far, comment, "I choose courage over fear," to let the world know you're ready to take control of your life and embrace the wisdom of Stoicism. Remember, fear is just an emotion. It loses its power the moment you choose to face it with courage and clarity. Thank you for watching. If these lessons inspired you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights on mastering your mind and transforming your life. Share this video with someone who could use a reminder that they hold the power to conquer their fears. Stay grounded, stay resilient, and as always, keep growing. See you in the next one.